$55 billion US dollars likely to be put into Pakistan as a result of this specific project, Belt and Road.
Right.
Would you be able to, at the end of the day, pay back the debts?
It's a critical question. I give the example of One Belt, One Road, President Xi's major initiative for Asia, and Pakistan is like a pilot project. So number one, it cannot fail. We have to succeed to show that One Belt, One Road is a success. Number two, if you take a look at One Belt, One Road, it is $55 billion spent over 20 years. It's not happening today. It's going to get spent. Second, the repayment, it is not all government time. This year, after 10 years, we will be having a growth rate of more than 5%. As the electricity problems come down with the One Belt, One Road power sector projects, as the communication system from Karachi, Gwadar, right up to the north go through, and the logistics network gets through, you will find that the growth rate goes above 6%. Pakistan's total foreign debt is only 23%, 24% of GDP. It's actually lower than many, many countries, even in Europe. So
For now. Only.
Yeah, but if you take a look, if your GDP is also growing fast, and you get this loan, the percentage is not going to go to 50%.
Wait a minute. The best scenario you just presented, you have a lot of ifs before you reach a conclusion. So will any of these ifs all come true? That would be perfect. But the question is, in reality, it usually wouldn't. So best wishes for Pakistan, by the way. But the thing is, it would not be just as we hope. In other words, my question is, Mr. Nadeem, are you having visual thinking when you're talking about the economic growth rate of your country?
Okay, let me tell you this way. I'm a skeptic by nature. So I really don't take government numbers and people's numbers seriously. When the One Belt, One Road started, and in the case of Pakistan, CPEC started talking about 3 years ago, I was very skeptical. But today I see actual construction going on, actual projects being implemented, and I see private sector coming in. For example, steel industry in Pakistan, private steel industry has announced doubling of capacity. Cement industry is doubling its capacity. Toyota, Honda, and Suzuki, which are car manufacturers in Pakistan, they have announced big expansion plans last year. Coca-Cola has put in $400 million for second largest, biggest bottling plant in Asia outside Lahore to serve Central Asia. So I think these are people with money, and their money is going to do the talking, not me. So I think they are saying by their money that they believe in this.
How important it is, Belt and Road Initiative, for the private sector to come in as a big player?
I think without the private sector, we should forget it. Private sector is going to be the driver. In the $55 billion, which I just mentioned, only $8 billion is government-to-government grant.
Right.
The rest is all private-public partnerships, and we are beginning to see, and I can tell you an example. A year ago, what used to be the annual revenue of large construction private sector company in the north of Pakistan is now the monthly revenue.
Right.
That is the impact that it is having. So I think it is a huge, huge thing, which I think another 24 months, and you will see the results coming out.
You talk about public-private partnership. This is a crucial word because we cannot believe it could be possible all about government money if it is about Belt and Road Initiative. And at the conference the other day by CIC and some of the other stock exchanges here in China, the CIC president, Mr. Tu, specifically talking about it has to be commercial-based.
Right.
It has to be market-based.
Right.
It has to be sustainable.
Exactly.
So I guess these are beautiful words, and yet, you know, private sector, they want to make sure this is going to be something that would bring them back the real benefits.
Right.
They're not just going to do it because the government called upon them
Exactly.
and put money over there. So, Mr. Nadeem, you have to be convincing to the private sector.
Yes, that is what we are trying to do. And as I said, these initiatives that I told you is private sector already issuing rights shares, already listing on the exchange and taking money from investors. Now, to do that, they have to have a complete detailed prospectus of all the projects. They have to have complete audited forecasts. People are not just going to give them money like this. And all of this shows that we are moving into, I'm not saying we are out of the woods, never. But we are definitely moving into a tipping point where Pakistan, for the first time after 10 years, is entering a high growth zone. Now, of course, there will be questions. Of course, there will be uncertainty. Politics is a very unusual situation. It can happen anytime. We are living in a very tough neighborhood. And I think our friendship with China and our stability of that friendship with China is a key area which I believe is going to ensure that the economics follows the politics, not the other way around.
People worry about difficult and challenging political situation in Pakistan to a certain extent, and the discontinuity of policies in Pakistan as well. Can you give us more confidence with real, concrete evidence?
Okay, first of all, I am a private sector. I'm not a government sector because PSX is a private company. Yes. I can only tell you this, that if you look back 10 years, 15 years, you'll see the development has not gone like this. It has gone like this, and like this, but it has gone up. So the direction is very important. Second, you have a population of 200 million people. 50% of them are below the age of 30. You have a middle class that has now become 40 million strong. They are demanding accountability from the government. Our press is completely free. Every other day, some government minister is targeted, hey, he took some money. So there is a civil society responsibility which is coming in. I think that is the best check and balance. When people ask, have you delivered, Mr. Government? Then government has to deliver. And I think that is the basis of a sustained institutional development which we never had before.
We talk about the possibility of hope. The question is, we're doing business. It's important to have barometers, sir. What are some of the latest barometers that you're looking at for the next 2 years to come?
I think one of the most critical areas that we need to focus on is the area of the sustainability of GDP growth, because that is the big picture. Within that, I think we have to look at the sectoral opportunities for Chinese companies. Solar is a big alternative energy area in Pakistan. The government has provided excellent ROE, sovereign guaranteed ROE for solar companies and wind power companies. That is another area that Chinese are very good at. Chinese companies are excellent in the solar area. There is a whole bunch of dairy area. Now, in dairy products, Pakistan is the 4th largest producer of milk in the world. But do you know, more than 30% goes waste. They do not have storage capability. They do not have pasteurizing capability. Chinese, we were just speaking in the conference with one of the larger Chinese dairy companies. They have the technology. They can come in. Today, Nestle of Switzerland is the main dairy player in the dairy market, milk and yogurt and things like that. Local company came in 5 years ago. It became number 2. Do you know what happened to it? The 5th largest dairy company in the world has just taken over the local company called Angro, 51% for $500 million. So there are people who can look at the opportunities, and I think it is very important for Chinese companies to also just turn around and say, there's this little country on my side. I've not been looking at it. Let's take a look at it. I think they will find some very beautiful gems.
Well, we understand there has been a lot of Chinese investments into the stock exchange in Pakistan. What do you make of this mixture, in fact, of shares into your organization?
I think it's absolutely brilliant timing as far as the investment is concerned, because I think with the 3 exchanges coming in from China and also the largest private bank in Pakistan, Habib Bank Limited, they are partners, part of the consortium. That is, I think, going to give a big boost to what the stock exchange and the capital market can do. And I think their experience as part of the One Belt, One Road and bringing in Chinese companies into Pakistan gives us an edge. And I think in terms of their technological experience, in terms of the experience with small and medium-sized businesses, in terms of the derivatives market experience, these are all things that we desperately needed. So I think it's a very good time for them to come.